So here we go. I am now practicing up against Alfredino. And we're just going to be playing a ton of different matchups, seeing how that goes. Start off, he's bringing in the Sisters of Twilight for a potential sniping attempt. I'll loose a single volley of Ushapti bowfire onto her just to keep her modest, but she's going to be dodging around quite a bit. I need my stalkers to get on top of her if I want to be getting any reasonable amount of damage. The horsemen too will do really good here for sniping her out, and my stalkers are revealed. And will I be able to get some damage in? It looks like a tiny bit. She hits up Ark in the Black too, so we're sort of hitting both ways right now. Now, if you actually want to catch out skirmishers, you want to get your own missile units directly under them to actually get in that damage. And we're seeing right now, by keeping my horsemen right under the Sisters of Twilight, she's having a very hard time actually dodging the missiles. So that's really good for me. Ark in the Black might even want to Spirit Leech her, but I'm going to hold on to that for now, since I don't really want to... She can get healed up, and overcasting Spirit Leech is pretty painful for Ark in the Black too. So she has dodged a good amount of the damage, but taken a ton herself. So I'll rate that as a pretty nice win for me. She only got one shot on Ark in the Black. And now we are progressing out of the skirmish phase into the main phase of this battle. The Glade Riders are going to get punished by my Stalkers, getting in some pretty nice damage there. There is a lot of Wood Elf infantry, and actually quite a few of these Glade Guard. I need some way of dealing with them, and I have to be a little bit proactive this game. I guess my Ushapti Great Bows might be able to do okay there, but optimally I'd be able to jump my cavalry on top of them. The problem being is that my cavalry aren't really in a great situation to dive in on top of these guys. There's a lot of cavalry for the Wood Elves too, so it's no guarantee. What is really nice though is that the Sisters of Twilight have been taking absolutely brutal amounts of damage, and I'm going to hit them with some Ushapti Great Bowfire. Now I do eat a pendulum in the face with absolutely no dodging on my part. This is obviously intentional, and no, that's absolutely terrible for me. But the infantry isn't extremely important. More so, I need to be getting value in with my cavalry. Sisters of Twilight too are getting really low on HP, and they're almost at the break point where I can try sniping them out. So hopefully that goes okay. I am taking a lot of damage from these Glade Riders though, and I'm wondering if I should just be taking a stronger engagement here and just trying to rush down the Wood Elves. Perhaps sending in my cavalry all to the left flank to try and overload, but I'm not entirely sure. Sisters of Twilight are slowly getting healed up too, but if I can jump these Glade Guard, that would be a really nice situation for me. So let's go ahead and just continue surrounding with the cavalry. I do have a fairly large cavalry advantage, so that might go okay. The Ushapti can continue pressuring the Glade Guard too, and then I might be good to go. So we're moving back onto the aggressive, and we're going to try sniping out targets. The Stalkers will move up to protect Ark in the Black, since I have much fewer units of cavalry here to actually keep them safe. And then these Wild Riders aren't especially a big threat. So I just need to get in range with these guys so that they can dive in. Then I should be good to go. The Glade Riders are going to be a little bit out of position. So fingers crossed this engage goes well, but my cavalry's a little bit mistimed. That's going to be a bit scary. These Glade Riders though committing is going to be really good for me. And soon I'll be diving in on top of these archers. Ark in the Black will be summoning the skeletons to catch out all of these guys. That is a really nice pick for me. Another pendulum does come down, but just hits a few units of infantry. And now it's going to be a lot of cavalry micro to try and shut down these archers. Have a ton of troops at the ready. And I'm also going to be trying to snipe out the Sisters of Twilight in case Alfredino isn't paying attention. So let's go ahead and send an Ark in the Black onto her and try sniping her out. My cavalry, my Nahakara horsemen are diving on in, and a little bit too late, but if I can kill off the sisters, that would be huge. The Spirit Leech should be coming off cooldown in just a second. And then I just need to route her off the map. Her healing is procced, and I need to be focus firing her with my horsemen and getting her to route before it actually triggers. If I can do that, I can just easily chase her off. And there we go. She is now routing off the battlefield. And it's just, oh man, there we go. I actually do kill her instead. So that is absolutely huge. And saving those Spirit Leeches seem to have worked out pretty well. I catch out the Waystalker too, and now it's actually just killing off all of these range units. So that worked out really well. The Ushopti are getting compromised, so I'll have to pull them back. And these Chariots are going to have to really focus on staying alive now, because the major threat for the Wood Elves at this point is just their infantry. And their infantry, it should fall pretty quickly to the likes of all this mobility. So it should be pretty good. It's just focusing on chasing things off, and then I'll be good to go. Stalkers are diving in onto the archers. Ark in the Black is still alive. I did lose my Ushopti, but they did serve their purpose, so that's not too bad. So there we go. Oh my goodness, a bit of a scary game, but I did manage to do it. And let's go ahead and pull back with some of these troops, and then I guess save my Spirit Leeches wherever they're needed with Ark in the Black, but it doesn't really matter. Alfredino does tap out, and that's going to be GG. Oh boy. Oh, Ice Power is saying Hadri's is the OG Dark Elf main. Yeah, for sure. We saw him play it a lot. But there we go. The Sisters of Twilight. Very scary because they can snipe out Ark in the Black. But if you Spirit Leech them back to back, they actually die out pretty quickly. The Nehakara Horse Archers are really good here too, as they can actually ward them away. And then you just use your horsemen to pull out the victory. Oh my goodness, GG. That was a bit nerve-wracking, but that play really swung it in my favor. So here we go, final game versus Alfredino. I've gone for a cavalry build. I have the Teeth Breakers. They're coming in with their stealth. And there's a good number of cavalry units here for Alfredino, numbering up to 7. Fairly high, very few archer units. But I do have my guns at the ready. My build is very wide, and these Skaven Slave Clan Rat Spears, are going to be holding up most of the cavalry if I'm able to micro correctly. Immediately, he's going for a flank overload. I can simply pivot my army as a counter, and then I don't have to worry too much, as long as I don't get too close to the white line. And I just want my Warp Fire Throwers to do as best as they can. I can get some free damage here too while I pivot, using the Poison Wind Mortars, and then that should force Alfredino to engage. Lewin dives on in, takes a fat volley of rattling gunfire, and that's pretty good so far. Skulk too can go ahead and throw down a summon just to fight off some peasants. And then for the cavalry, I just need to make sure that I'm continuing to reposition my troops to slow them down. The rattling guns are going to have to turn so that they can fire on them effectively. And here we go, the main engagement is nearly underway. I need to make sure that all my clan rats are repositioning to the best of their abilities. And then Skrulk can make sure that the front line doesn't break in. So far, going decently well. I need to continue repositioning these clan rats though. And then the wolf rats too need to be moving. And it looks like some knights might even be able to slip through. My wolf rats are doing fairly well. These guys will be able to shoot in just a second. But here we go. Some knights, they will be slipping through. I'm going to slow them down with a unit of summons. And then the Warp Fire Throwers, they're going to be moving in. Hopefully taking out those guys. Warp Fire Throwers do make contact, kill quite a few knights. How's Skulk doing? He's still doing A-okay. The rattling guns have revealed themselves too. They are absolutely murdering the knights on this flank. And then as for these Knights of the Realm, they're going to be eating a fat volley of Warp Fire Thrower. So that's going to melt them down. I can throw down more summons with Skulk too. And my spears are holding up fairly well. Lewin is still going to be a bit of a threat though. and I'm not sure if I have what it takes to actually kill him off, but I have killed off a good number of the cavalry units so far. And with my summons, hopefully I'll be able to rout off some more of the cavalry. Port fire throwers are doing well. They're melting down most of the knights. They're almost all down, but there's still quite a few of them left. And that worries me a tiny bit. I need to make sure that I'm actually finishing them off as we head on into the late game. So far, the warp fire throwers have done a pretty decent job. Lewin is landed on top of my mortar, so I need to make sure that they're constantly firing in on the archers. But once they're compromised, it should be good. I have some wolf rats at the ready to assist too. But there are still a lot of units of cavalry here that I have to worry about. I'm going to use some spells with Squolk to nuke down the rest, or at least as many as I can. And then the wolf rats are now on archer killing duty. I have the Ixcha's triads too at the ready. But we've lost a few units of weapon teams. That's definitely going to be a little bit worrying. My poison wind mortars have routed off too. So we'll see how this goes. I have killed off most of the cavalry, which is very good, but it looks like the engagement has gone pretty well for Alfredino, as most of the guns are now shut down. I do catch a unit of knights over here. Now Squolk is engaged on Lewin. This is a pretty, not a great fight for him. And oh man, I actually missed micro with my wolf rats, which let the archers rout them off. And it looks like that's gonna be it. Unless Squolk can pull out a miracle. He's gonna go ahead and fight Lewin. I think I did an okay job here. I did kill off a lot of the cavalry, but a few gaps did open up. And I think my wolf rat play to catch the archers could have been improved a tiny bit. With Lewin still at so high HP, looks like that is likely gonna be it. Especially with the archer support and Squolk routing. So we'll call it GG there. But I still think it went fairly well. We killed off almost all the cavalry. And I think if I had just a couple, maybe if I mix in a few globadiers possibly, it could have gone better. The warp fire throwers too. There were a few points where they needed to turn and fire. And oh yeah, if you look at these guys, they got caught out before they could shoot. So I think that misplay probably did it. The others still got in their value. The rattling guns did okay, but not amazingly. I think in the end though, the mass amount of knights were still pretty hard to deal with. Still a very fun build, and I think there was a possibility, but there we go. That's going to be a GG for now. And yeah, that's going to be it. Indeed, it is a very high micro build, but I do enjoy it. And I think if I play it well enough, I can still actually win it.